Alright, that's it before we're already in game, so welcome back. It's the finals of the group. One player is going to move on through Group B with Euthermal. The other one, sadly, is going to fall and get kicked out of the tournament. In the top left corner of the map, we've got the... I was going to say pink, the red Protoss Spacemarine.
In the top right, as the teal Zerg, it's Tomikus.
I should have just committed. I should have just been like, pretty red Protoss. Mistakes were made.
I thought you were gonna say blue. I thought you were way off base.
Oh, okay. Well,
Covering the tracks.
I guess off base would be over here, though, right?
You know, Tomikus scouts diagonally again.
Yeah. So this is a little bit weird. We always talk about scouting patterns and how they tend to be clockwise, just by some strange universal default. But I guess maybe cross spawns is the one spawn he really does not want on this map. So scouting it first helps alleviate that stress, and anything beyond that, not as problematic.
You would just think that he would want to scout the bases that his overlords weren't going to see first, right? But that would have been the bottom right. His overlord isn't ads. So I don't understand. Well, whatever. It doesn't affect him that much in this game. It affected him in the last series, and it made a really weird game, but not here. Nothing weird happened except a greedy build from Spacemarine, or somewhat greedy build, and Tomikus just regularly did a hatchery first.
I should know we did that during the I can't remember why we were doing that either. That was like really dumb. During the Best 69. Some of the VODs, going through some of the VODs that we're gonna be cutting up for that, like having to listen to us, I'm like, these guys are idiots. Why did anyone watch us?
People kept saying that my laughter was infectious, and I was like, oh, I must have a really cute laugh. Let me listen to it. Honk.
Honk. Pretty much. Alright, well, maybe not a honk, but a beep beep let me through. He actually tries to Zelda away from the moment. Almost baits him to get past. I mean, the idea for these lings isn't to get to the main to do a lot of damage. Maybe you run out and kill a probe or two. You want to scout. You don't want to have to send an overlord in. You don't have to risk sending an overlord in. So it's a little unfortunate these lings can't quite get that baits.
Well, he went for a speedling opener, which would help you in a lot of situations. I mean, if it's like a 7-gate zealot all in, then you probably want to get the roaches, and you still want to scout that. But if it was like a 4-gate, then he would be okay. Which is, I think, the most immediate concern. And now that he sees that it's, going to be a robo or forge, then not so much a concern. But it is robo. I think that's worth talking about, rather than more gateways, or a really quick third, or even a stargate. Like, robo openers usually mean Immortal Sentry all in, but there are certain macro builds that just go like Immortal, then straight to Colossus very quickly.
I wonder if that's a bit of a bluff then, though, because it used to be back in the day we always see more Stargate heavier openings. They put the Stargate in the front wall, Zerg would see it, and they go, okay, I'm not making mutas because they can already make Phoenix. So I'm wondering if it's kind of the same almost level of bluff where you're like, okay, well, I'm expecting an Immortal Sentry all in, let me go overreact, but really, Space Marine cranks out an Immortal but no sentries and just macros behind it.
I don't know. You would think that like the Immortals plus the Colossus very quickly would deal better against stuff like Roach or Roach Hydra. It doesn't necessarily. I mean, maybe it'll help against Ling Hydra because both of them are very susceptible to splash. But honestly, Blink Stalkers with good force fields are probably the epitome of skill and, doing well and whatnot.
Well, it's kind of funny because, everyone's been complaining about the Sentry since forever. How it ruins the race and force fields are stupid, etc. Even Protoss to a minor degree. I really like how we've seen so much Legacy of the Void content where a lot of the new units and the way units complement each other now really remove the necessity of the sentry. We don't even see sentries like full on at all.
Nope.
So it's nice to know like that's the direction the game's going. But yeah, like when it comes to Immortal Sentry, those force fields just slitting the army into fourths and eighths like a fine knife are so important.
Yeah. So it's not a macro build, and seeing 2 Immortal, well, 3 Immortals now, well, I think Tomikus knows. Did he get an Overlord at a point when he pointed to see how many gateways were going down? He saw 2, that was it, but I think he knows, right? Like, I think he's figured it out. It's going to be a lot of gateways, it's going to be a push into his main base. It is a pretty close spawn, So I think this is a nice enough build for this maps, this situation specifically.
But he's also going to get spoiled.
It's very well, I guess. You know, I think this is going to work out. I feel like more sentries, less immortals will work out against Ling Hydra, but more immortals, less sentries doesn't work out against Ling Hydra. I don't like it so far.
I just think more sentries in general, like regardless of what they're fighting.
I don't know. He's also banking like a ton of gas too, so we must just be waiting. But the idea is that usually you start off with a lot of sentries, so they gain a lot of energy. But this is not an immortal sentry all in. He got all the gateways, but he also had all of the gases at all this time. He got a Twilight Council as he moved out, which is already a little suspicious. And now he gets a Dark Shrine plus the third. Tomikus is going to be defending against an immortal sentry all in that he was pretty sure was coming. And he's going to be stuck at like 52 drones before he realizes like, oh, it's not an all in. I need to be aggressive here.
Well, sitting back, taking his own third right now, Spacemarine could easily defend this with the same forces he's posturing to attack with.
I guess that explains all of his gas not going into the sentries. This is going to be such a... This is, I guess, a build that we've seen once or twice maybe before, but it's definitely going to blindside Tomikus. He doesn't have any Spore Crawlers or Overseers. Well, okay, he has one Overseer already made, but that just means you warp in 3 DTs and you split them apart and they're still going to have a headache.
To say the least.
Yes. If you warp in all at once, say near the third, it could probably chop it down where the Overseer got over here. DTs just do so much damage. But the proxy pylon isn't over to the third. In fact, it's nowhere. It's the Warp Prism now.
Isn't it like 3 DTs, even if you can detect them, will usually kill a hatchery in time?
Yeah, unless you have DTs already there. Like, you know, a Queen and a couple of Lings won't cut it.
You need those shields from Halo they have or whatever. They're like mini defense matrices. Just throw one of those babies down and just go ham on the hatchery.
Yeah. The Colossus looks like it's gonna pop out in the good time to defend against the Ling Hydra, which again was not... It's not plentiful. I mean, he was stuck at a low drone count thinking it was an all-in. You know, ready to prepare his own, like, small force versus small force, and, well, it's gonna be a pretty big one.
I really like the fake out of Space Marine, though. I mean, if at any point the Overlords had moved in and seen nothing was being made and nothing was going on cooldown, maybe he would have read that a little bit better, but... I mean, the Overseer came really late, and now he's kind of stuck with his own all-in force. To be
a little bit. Like, it's really not going to do well against Colossus and just a couple of force fields, and he does not have a 4th base yet. It is a little awkward. It's, but pushing out in the concave, not the best move for Protoss here.
He will try and get away from the Hydras, but man, those Lings are doing work. Stressing again that there's no upgrades for Tomikus at all.
That was not what I... Because the thing about Cactus Valley is that natural is so choky, you know? Like, he didn't have to push out into the concave, but I guess he really just wanted to attack, but needed a couple more warp-ins to really make that work. As it is, he still has a nice enough army supply with, again, a couple of good force fields.
Sorry for the camera, guys. I had to pick a hair off the mouse, so it kind of freaked out for a second.
He'll do well enough, but that is a lot of Hydras. If those force fields don't hit correctly, and there's not a lot of them, he could die.
There's seriously like 3. Like, this is bad. Time Warp's going to go down, but I don't think Tomikus is going to be silly enough to chase into it. Maybe a couple of Lings here and there, but the Hydra is being positioned really well on the backside, especially with these Queens. Let's not forget, kind of Band-Aid, Comet Medics, they can start transfusing and healing, but honestly, I wonder if an attack path, like running through the north with these Hydras, might be better to go for the counterattack. At the same time, though, he risks not being able to defend at all and losing everything.
Here comes the back attack, though, and the force fields are entirely gone. If you get off the Colossus, which it looks like he just might, he might be able to hold. One goes down instantly. The Immortals aren't really helping out anyways. Pick up a shots, though.
And everything here dying just fairly quickly. One Colossus still standing.
I think if he had Roach Hydra, he might have been able to snipe the Colossus and just barely live. But Ling Hydra was dying too quickly to 2 Colossus.
I agree. And with that second one coming in, or sorry, I guess it's the third one technically coming in from across the map, it hits at that time too where it flanks. No GG, ladies and gentlemen, Spacemarine. He is going to take the series and be the second one to make it out of the group.